In this video, I'm going to share my top 5 favorite marathon workouts of all time. My name is Shane and I am a 2:32 marathoner, soon to be sub 2:30. Just give me like a week, like literally 1 week. I have a sub 2:30 race attempt coming up on February 2nd, which is like 1 week away from the time I'm recording this. Like I said, these workouts are my favorite workouts. I'm not saying every person should necessarily be doing all of these, but personally, I've found the most improvement in marathon fitness from doing these 5 workouts, and I am very excited to share them with you. So give these workouts a try if you're up for the test, and let me know what your favorite workouts are in the comments below. And with that being said, let's get into the top 5. Number 5, my 5th favorite, is 6 by mile repeats. Right now, my high school self is watching this video saying, "What? Shane, what is wrong with you? We hate mile repeats. How can you even say this? This is like the worst workout ever. How dare you say you enjoy mile repeats?" I literally used to sit in lunch in high school, not able to eat my meal because I was so freaking nervous for my mile repeats workout I had after school during cross country. It was that bad. Well, a lot has changed now, and relative to my 16-year-old self, 1 mile is not as far as I thought it used to be. This is actually one of the lowest distance repeats I'll do when marathon training, but the reason I like this workout so much is because you get to see what kind of paces you can hit for a series of 1 mile reps. That may have sounded really dumb, but if you live in America like me, you base your running pace day to day off of minutes per mile. So 6:30 pace, 7-minute pace per mile, right? So to do a workout where you're covering that per whatever distance exactly to see what you're capable of over X amount of reps is just very satisfying. And not only is it satisfying, but I personally believe that 6 by mile with like 2 or 3 minutes jog rest in between is a super beneficial marathon workout. More so to get some faster, closing in on VO2 max type work. And you can run these usually somewhere between 5K and 10K race pace. It is a very tough one, that's for sure. You typically only want to do this workout once, maybe twice in like a 10-week marathon training plan, for instance. But nonetheless, it is a killer workout I love to do. It's on usually every marathon training plan that I do, and it's always fun to see how I improve over time with mile repeats. Number 4, the rest of the world outside of America is going to be very pleased with this one. It is anywhere between 8 and 10 kilometer repeats. Again, a very speedy workout for a marathoner, and Ks will be like the lowest distance repeats I'll do in any sort of marathon training plan. But the reason I like K so much is for that speed element, for getting that quick turnover that you don't really get with other sorts of marathon workouts. You can usually run these like at or very close to 5K race pace, sometimes closer to 10K race pace if you're doing like 10 reps over 8. But I can close Ks in like an 8 or 9 by K workout at 3 flat or sub 3. And very rarely am I running that fast of paces during my marathon training at all. So this kind of workout seems to help me with like my running form, economy, what have you. And overall, it just makes running then like 30 seconds slower or whatever my marathon pace is a lot easier. It makes it feel a ton easier after running 3 flat for K. 3:30 for K doesn't feel so bad. So K repeats help your VO2 max. They help sort of your leg turnover, that faster training stimulus for your body that you still need during marathon training. And honestly, they just give you a boost of confidence. I typically take like 2 minutes jog rest in between each repetition of Ks, but some people only do like 60 or 90 seconds. I'll tell you what though, if you're able to balance the reinforced speed gains you get from a 10 by K workout with the lactate threshold and tempo gains you get from other marathon training, you are gonna run fast in the marathon someday. Again, I typically only do this workout like once, maybe twice in a 10-week marathon build, for instance, but definitely another important and key one for sure. Number 3, I gotta go with the old trusty 4 by 2 mile repeats. It was a tough one in college. It's a tough one now. But boy, does this workout make you strong as a freaking ox. I don't think this is an unpopular opinion at all. I think most of the top marathoners, at least in America, are doing some extent of 2 mile repeats to work into their training. So why do I like this workout? Well, for one, it whips you into shape fast. I found that 2 mile rep distance for me, 10 to 10 and a half minutes around there, my body responds very well to that. So with the mile repeats in the Ks, you're more so working like a VO2 max sort of stimulus, especially for the Ks. But with 2 mile repeats, this is a great lactate threshold stimulus. Maybe I start the workout, 2 mile reps at like half marathon pace or even slower. But by the end, I'm cutting down to like 10K pace. So really for the range of workout, I'm starting like a little bit slower than lactate threshold pace, but as I go, I'm finishing actually faster than lactate threshold. And just so you know, what I'm defining lactate threshold as, and like what many people define it as, is the race pace you could hold for about an all-out hour running effort. And like I said, for all of these reps, I'm usually running above 10 minutes. I'm not breaking 10 for 2 miles just yet. So it's a great stimulus for that lactate threshold, and it gets you kind of that like long grind type workout feeling. I don't know if that made sense at all, but it did in my head. You can take like a half-mile jog in between the reps, or like 3 to 4 minutes, that sort of thing. And this workout is great to just stack up miles. I mean, if you think about it, 2 mile warm up, 2 mile cool down, 4x2 mile with half a mile jog in between each rep, that's already like almost 14 miles. This workout does really hurt, but I love it. And despite it being like very demanding and volume intensive, I'll still probably do this twice during a 10-week marathon plan. That's how important this workout is. Okay, number 2. We're getting to the top 2 here. These are big time, baby. Number 2 is a hard one. Definitely the hardest one on this list for sure. That is 16 miles at marathon race pace. Now, if you noticed, all the workouts I've mentioned up to this point have been at like half marathon pace or a tiny bit slower than half marathon pace or faster, right? Those are the first 3 we covered. Now, 16 miles at marathon pace. Finally, we're locking into marathon pace. These are my favorite marathon training workouts. So this is a very important one. This workout is very understandably the best marathon training stimulus you can do for race day. It is a very tough one though, both physically and mentally. It's a long day out there. It's hard to get your body primed up and get out there for 16 miles at marathon race pace. I mean, that's more than half of the marathon. It requires a good deal of preparation. You definitely want to give yourself like at least 3 recovery days before doing something like this. But like I said, this is an important run. You want to give yourself kind of like a trial effort where you're running, at least like a half marathon at race pace, marathon race pace I'm saying, but doing that 16, it gives you that extra little bit. And I kind of like to think of it like after you get through 16, could I have finished 10 more miles? You know what I mean? Because that's all you had left at that point. And if the answer is yes, that's great. If the answer is no, you learned some things. Maybe I need to adjust my marathon goal a little bit. Maybe I didn't come into here to this run properly fueled, so on and so forth. You can also practice fueling during this run, taking in gels, taking in fluids, which is important to do when you're running that actual marathon pace, because when you fuel during a recovery run, it's not the same. It's not the same as fueling when you're running at that fast marathon click. When you fuel during a lactate threshold run, you're running a little bit faster. It's a little bit harder to get the calories down. So you'll know for sure what fueling feels like at that marathon pace during this sort of run. Now, this being a very tough 16-mile run at marathon pace, you certainly only want to do this once throughout your marathon training plan. About 3 weeks out is kind of the sweet spot. You want to do this run, or at least what I've done this run at before. And it gives you plenty of time then to fully recover for your race. A lot of times you can separate this hard long run, whether it's 16 miles, whatever it is, your last hard long run, you can separate that with the end of your hard marathon training and the beginning of your taper for your actual marathon race. By the way, I stole this marathon from Sage Canada, VO2 Max Productions. Shout out to Sage. I believe this was part of the Hanson's marathon training strategy. I think that 16 miles is a good spot. You're not pushing up against the wall, but you're going far enough to, again, assess with yourself, 10 more miles. Could I do it or could I not? Anyways, the point is, it's a very aggressive training workout, the hardest one you'll probably do in your whole plan. And if you're gonna do it, especially alone, good luck. All right, number 1, my favorite marathon workout of all time, the 8-mile tempo run. Guys, this was a shoe-in for number 1. For me, it might come as a surprise to some of you, but I just cannot tell you how much this 8-mile tempo run has helped me and has got me into so much better shape over these past few months especially. It is so simple, 8 miles in and out, start at slightly slower than marathon pace, maybe speed up to a little bit faster at the end if I'm feeling good. It just kind of depends. So why do I like this workout so much? Well, it gets you into great endurance shape, and it's a hard workout, but it's really not that hard because, like I said, you're going a little slower than marathon pace. It's really more of a comfortably uncomfortable effort. And yeah, sure, you're breathing heavier, your legs don't feel great, but it's nowhere quite near that lactate threshold. And so when you finish the run, you honestly kind of feel like, man, I could have gone a few extra miles if I had to. And for this reason, you can do this workout a ton. I mean, I have done an 8-mile tempo like every freaking week for the past 10 weeks at this point. It is the perfect amount of work. Not too much, not too little, the perfect middle ground. I do it all the time. It never gets old. And just personally, I feel like if you're a runner who responds well to more distance, tempo-ish oriented efforts, this is the workout for you, and it's one that I'm gonna continue to do for years to come. So there you have it, guys. There's my 5 favorite marathon workouts. And if you've noticed through all of these workouts, they cover a variety of different pace ranges, ranging from as fast as VO2 max stimulus to as slow as even slower than marathon race pace. And I really think it's the combination of all these different workout paces and intertwining them together in some way that will make you as fast as you can be in the marathon, and that will get you in the best shape that you can be to run the fastest marathon you possibly can. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, let me know what your favorite workouts are in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, follow me on Strava, and I'll catch you in the next video.